Alright, this is the second of the balance day adjustments videos. This time we're looking at accrued expenses, and once again we're going to look from an older NCQA exam paper. This one's 2016, question 1. Okay, here's the resource. I've cut and pasted some parts of the resource so it's not the full trial balance you would be given, just the parts we're looking for. Now it's an accrued expense. Looking at the additional information, we're looking for something like this line here. Office wages of $1,200 are owing on balance day. Because we owe it, it's not going to be a prepayment. We haven't paid in advance. We haven't actually yet paid it. This is a nice simple transaction, not asking you to calculate the amount. They're giving it to you of $1,200. Sometimes you will be asked to calculate and figure out how much they do owe. First off, treating it on the trial balance. This is a year 11 sort of exercise, but we still need to do it. So we're going to adjust the trial balance. The first thing we're going to do is increase the expense because we owe office wages. So for that counting period, we need to make sure that we're going to increase it to the correct amount, in this case $46,200, which is $45,000 plus $1,200. In terms of the double entry system, we've increased the debit, so the next step is to make sure it still balances, so we increase or create current liability, accrued expense. This time's a credit entry, so it goes on the right hand side of the trial balance, and it's $1,200. Two sides still balance, and if we were just doing the income statement, we will now have our transactions to write on the various places. Sometimes though, we will be given a journal to do, to record it, so we just basically do the same thing, just in a very formalized process. Balance date, I'm making up 31st of 3rd 2017, whatever date the actual exam is, of course. I'm going to increase the expense, so debit entry, that goes on the top line, there's the $1,200, and the double entry system, there's the accrued expense, credit entry, $1,200, and that's just recording what we're basically written on the trial balance. To show how we go from this journal entry to the actual trial balance figures, we can look at the general ledgers. Here's our office wages. We had the original amount from the trial balance of $45,000 debit. Note, we don't put anything into the debit column or the credit column when this happens. It just goes straight into the balance column. We have our contra entry, which is accrued expense, and we obviously were increasing the expense account, so we debited it of $1,200 from the general journal entry, and this comes $46,200 debit, which we wrote on the trial balance for. Another entry, which we could also write a journal entry for, is our closing the account. We get the income summary. Need to make sure it gets down to zero, so it's going to be a credit entry of $46,200 and balance of zero. It's closed. And the accrued expense, there's the balance date, contra entry, office wages, and this is a liability, so we credited it, and we've got the credit balance of $1,200. Those are the ledger entries for that original journal entry. And most times you'll be stopping there and going on to write the income statement. There's a possibility that you'll be asked to reverse the entry. It's just another journal entry. This time we're going to do it on the 1st of April, so one day later. So here we go. According to the adjustment, we need to decrease the current liability because it was only a temporary account. Accrued expense is going to be debited $1,200, and that expense which we've added money in and now going to be taken out. So office wage is now going to be credited $1,200. It's just the opposite of the original journal entry. So if you see the reversing of entry, don't get too frightened about it. On our ledger, this is what we had. When we adjust it, obviously on the next day, accrued expense comes back as particulars, and because we're increasing it to $1,200, we will get a $1,200 credit balance. Don't be alarmed. Obviously, over the year, wages will still be an expense and come and debit balance. We're just making sure this is a formalized process. More importantly, for the accrued expense account, here is our original transaction from the balance day adjustment, We want to close this account because it is just a temporary account. So on the 1st to the 4th, we had office wages, that's where it went back to. Debit goes there, 1200, and of course the balance is zero. A fairly typical balance day adjustment. Which part of it you're going to get, we don't know. Could be just a trial balance adjustment, could be a journal entry, could be journal and ledger, or just ledger, and then could be reversing. This is the full process. Just be aware you will only be probably asked to do a part of the process. The next set of journal entries will be looking at the income adjustments, and then we'll look at a few of the others after that.